Hello and welcome to a Scratch tutorial. This is going to be the first one in my series of Scratch 2.0 Confusion. So, there's a reason that I called it Scratch 2.0 Confusion, and that reason is because, well, quite frankly, there's a lot of new confusing things about Scratch 2.0. So, say you pretty new to Scratch, but you just got the hang of it, and all of a sudden, boom, we changed it on you. What happened? So, I'm going to show you what happened. I'm going to show you the new items that it has to offer, and things like that. So, this is the first episode, so excuse any bad things. I'm still kind of getting used to Scratch 2.0 myself. So yeah, this is just a little program on cloning. So that's obviously what this tutorial is going to be about, cloning. And all of my tutorials from here on out, for Scratch 2.0, is assuming knowledge of Scratch, the initial Scratch, or just plain Scratch 1.4. That's the old one. Now it's Scratch 2.0. So I assume that you all know Scratch 1.4. If you don't, you might want to learn it. Yeah, so here's just essentially what clones can do. So I have two variables here. One is how many clones are alive, and how many clones are dead. So this probably isn't the best program in the world to show you on. But yeah, so as you can see, that sprite's just running around, being all weird and doing all weird stuff. Yeah, and then did you see how it just split into two? That is a clone. Actually, all of these are clones. But as you can see, more and more are coming alive, and eventually one will die. Okay, did you see that? Right here. That one is a dead one. So I'll show you how to do that too. So yeah, that's that, and you can see how it's lagging really big. It will do that. The more and more things you have, it's essentially treating each clone as another sprite, just like more like a son or daughter, a not sibling. Oh, a kid, a kid of yours. So I'm just gonna stop that before it kills my computer. And yeah, so now we're gonna take a look inside. So I have a couple other things, so you might want to watch the next video, because I was experimenting a little, and that's what these purple blocks are. So just ignore those, and I'll explain them to you in great detail in the next video. But essentially all this does is it makes these things move around, and there's an initial one. This one's the actual sprite, and as you can see, there's only one sprite here. So I'm just gonna show him, or her, whatever you want to call it. Show, and it's right there. So if you can see that, it's right there. That is the pony that all of the other ponies are copied off of. So if that one changes, the others don't change. Well, the others don't change, even though they're copies. But all of these dead ones are the ones that are copies of it. And all the other ones running around were also copies, including the very first one that was running around. He was just sort of sitting there, hiding right there the whole time. He's completely useless to us, except for the very beginning. So all he does is sets how many names are alive and dead. That's all this does. Clears all the stamps, which are how I made these things stay here, even though they're gone, not even there anymore. And then it hides it and creates a clone. So there's these things called when I start as clone. And anyways, essentially what create a clone of myself does is it creates an exact replica of the initial sprite, but it doesn't have any coding. So it goes to here. When I start as a clone, that's basically green button. That's basically the green flag according to the clones. When I start as a clone, that's just... So what this does is all of the clones of the Nay Pony will do this. So all this does is it asks if it decides whether to die or not, how long it'll take, and then this is just this. So it just changes the nays alive and dead, change brightness, stamp, and then deletes it. So and I got a couple more. Like this one is the if it wants to clone or not, if it's gonna clone or not. You can clone clones too, so you can get very extensive things. A lot like cells. It's a lot like a cell. It spawns. It's just sitting there, and then it breaks into two, and then those both break into two, and then those four break into two, and you get really big, really fast. That's what happens here. That's actually how I set up my programming, to make it really big, really fast. But yeah, so as I said, it's not the best tutorial for cloning. So we're going to be making our own, and you might want to follow along too. But anyways, so when I start as a clone, it moves randomly. It waits as up to 25 seconds, and as long as 25 seconds, and as short as 10 seconds. And then it has a 1 in 2 chance of dying. Yeah, so that's all that is. That's how I get all this. So yeah, it's not too terribly complex. But it's a lot more complex than it looks on the screen. But it's not nearly as complex as it looks in the coding section. Okay, so I'm gonna go to a new one. Okay, come on. Okay, so yeah, now we have a new sprite, and I'm just gonna delete that. Actually, I didn't really have to. You know what? I'm not even going to. I'm gonna undelete it because we need one, anyways. So yeah, he's just sort of sitting there in the middle of the screen, doing nothing, just chilling there, just like, what? You got a problem with me? So yeah, I guess I will show you just what the heck this is. So yeah, so it's all in control, all at the very bottom of control. So up at the top is wait 1 second. You go all the way down to the bottom, down to here. So you see, down to the bottom, right here. These bottom 3. When I start, create a clone, and delete this clone. So I'm just gonna put you up here, and I'm gonna say, when I start as a clone, move 50 steps forwards. Just because, now move 100 steps forward. Like that. Okay, so, bam, see that? So let me just, so there's just a random cat here. I click create a clone of myself, and what that does is it creates another sprite exactly like this, but it doesn't have any scripts. And so all of the scripts that start with when I start as a clone, it will execute. So I'm just gonna click that, and bam, it moved it forwards. I don't know what the heck. Oh, I know what happened there. It's gonna move him back. Create a clone, and then it's gonna just start as a clone, and it's gonna do that. I didn't tell it to, but I click that, turns it on. Bam, spawns another thing in, another cat in. And so now I can get this cat to move. I can get this cat to move like wild, but not this one. this is the initial sprite. So when I press green, that one's going to disappear. But when I create a clone of myself, it spawns that. So now I'm going to show you. It's going to wait 1 second. It's going to delete the clone. And then it's going to delete it. So watch what this does. Click this, spawns that one in, waits a second, and now it's gone. So yeah, that's a really good example. This guy didn't move 100 steps, but the clone did. So clones are okay for needing to add and delete sprites when needed. But if you want one sprite, if you want a bunch of different clones that have a bunch of different, if you want two clones that have two different scripts, you need two different sprites. So yeah, that's pretty much what the clone is. So yeah, catch up to me in the next video. Thanks. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.